unhoused man was unalived in Atlanta by a city vehicle while he slept on the streets. Hello, and welcome to the People's Brief, where I talk about people politics and pop culture that impact Black, Brown, and queer communities. I get it in so you can get the news out quick, fast, and in a hurry. I promise you, I will not keep you long. On January the 16th of 2025, Cornelius Taylor lost his life when a city vehicle ran over him. This happened at a homeless encampment near Ebenezer Baptist Church on Old Wheat Street in Atlanta. Senator Raphael Warnock is the current pastor. Taylor was taken to a hospital where he later passed away from his injuries. The Atlanta Police Department's homicide unit is investigating the circumstances surrounding this man's death, and the City of Atlanta's Department of Public Works is supposedly cooperating fully with the police investigation. But a lot of people are demanding more, demanding some answers. As of today, the officials have not revealed specific details about this incident, calling it an ongoing investigation. You know, Atlanta's unhoused population has increased by 7% over the course of a year. Our city, I live in Atlanta, our city currently has over 1,800 homeless people in transitional housing, with about 1,000 people who are unhoused, unsheltered, living on our streets. And this is an increase of about 33% from last year. Of those who are living on the streets right now. And we know that there are a number of economic factors affecting this: lack of affordable housing, insufficient mental health care, substance abuse, resources, and issues. But this issue is getting to become greater and greater, not only in Atlanta, but all across the country. All across the country. And I see very little response from Atlanta's leaders and from our nation's leaders to offer some sort of help, support, and solace for so many Americans who are struggling and those who are living unhoused. Unhoused. I feel firmly that the people of Atlanta have asked for so little from this mayor and this current council, so little. And for the very little that they have asked for, they have gotten even less. They have gotten even less. It's time for us to hold these black leaders in this black city accountable, what they are doing and what they're choosing to not do. And I'm sorry. I know you can tell that I'm pissed, because I am. And I'm pissed at Atlanta city leaders. I'm also pissed at Netflix for raising prices again. This tweet from Robert Reich breaks it down very well, in my opinion. Look at what it states. 5 years of Netflix and their profits at 15.1 billion. They paid their executives $652 million over 5 years. And in that 5 years, they've only paid $236 million in taxes on such a huge amount of profits. And after Trump's tax cuts, Netflix paid top executives three times what it paid in federal income tax. And yesterday, they announced they were going to raise their prices a fucking again. So I want to know, from those people who are blaming Biden for inflation, for greedflation, how can you blame anybody for this except the corporation, except for Netflix? And what baffles me is that Netflix and other price gougers out there think that we have to pay for their service. No one needs Netflix. No one needs Netflix. And there is not one program on that streaming channel that is must watch television anyway. Not one. They have decreased so much in quality. They have decreased so much in quality that it is not worth the fucking $9 you paid for it in the first place, let alone this huge price of increase going up to, I think, almost $30 to not watch commercials. It's not fucking worth it. Today, President Trump signed an executive order titled Ending Illegal Discrimination and Restoring Merit-Based Opportunity. And this revoked Executive Order 11246, a 60-year-old order requiring affirmative action in government contracting, signed this mandate by President Johnson. This new rescinding effectively terminated all federal DEI programs, offices, and positions. It also ended all DEI related training and contracts. As a result of what President Trump has done, federal employees working in DEI roles are to be placed on administrative leave by the end of the day on Wednesday. That's already happened. This happened again on Wednesday, January 22nd. And now agencies are required to compile a list of DEI officers and workers that were in place prior to Election Day and beyond. On January 31st, these agencies must develop plans for a reduction in force against these employees. So these people, many of them women white women are going to lose their jobs. And this isn't just for federal agencies, but also federal contractors and potentially private sector organizations doing business with our government. The executive order directs the Justice Department and other agencies to identify egregious and discriminatory DEI practitioners in their jurisdictions. Trump claims these actions aim to combat illegal discrimination and promote merit based hiring. There are many critics, who say that this is part of a broader backlash against justice efforts, racial justice efforts, and warn that it can reverse decades of progress in addressing systemic discrimination. I don't know why critics, experts, or any goddamn body is surprised at this, because this is one of the most foundational pieces of Project 2025 that was laid out. And people like me got their asses all over social media for days. For days. I made at least 12 videos talking about Project 2025, and most of them talked about the fact that the incoming Trump administration was going to target what they call reverse discrimination, discrimination against white people in this country, and DEI, and destroying the efforts to create a normalized system that sought to impact systemic oppression and discrimination, not to dismantle it. That we've never been there as a country. We've never gotten close to the actual work of dismantling the systems of oppression. Although we talk about it, people like me, we talk about it, but as a country, we never gotten. They're not even close. But that's not what these policies did. We were just simply starting to make a small dent towards making things a little bit more inclusive. We weren't quite yet there for equity. We weren't there yet, but just making a little bit more diverse and inclusive is where we were, and now that has immediately come to an end. It's really crazy to me that people are cheering the fact that Americans are losing jobs, that this country where the economy rules all, that we're happy that Americans are losing jobs. But there are groups of people, groups of wonderful people out there who are cheering this on. There are probably some beautiful people too that are cheering it on because they're misguided and they are stupid. But they probably are. And that is heartbreaking and disappointing. But this is heartbreaking and disappointing, but it definitely wasn't, for me, surprising. And I wish I could end today's episode on some good news, but I can't, because our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Nashville, Tennessee, where a tragic school shooting occurred at Antioch High School. A tragic school shooting. It took place in a school cafeteria around lunchtime. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, where a 17-year-old male student opened fire, targeting specifically two female students. And after shooting the victims, this young man took his own life. He turned the gun on himself. One of the young ladies, thank God, has survived and is quoted as being in stable condition, but one of the young ladies did lose her life. I want you to know that for many U.S. students, this happened on the 13th day of school of 2025, the 13th day of this year. They've only been in school for 13 days in the month of January, and the first mass school shooting, major school shooting, has occurred. And that's the end of the news that I have planned for today, because I try to get it in so you can get the news out. But I just can't go out like that, not today. So, I'm just gonna dig into my words of wisdom bag, and I'm gonna say this: let's never stop trying to be a good person because of bad people. Let's never stop trying to be a good person because of bad people. And I think that we've seen some news today where there's a lot of bad things that just, we're not happy about that happened. But that can't stop us from trying to be the best that we can be as individuals. So keep that kind of in mind as a word of wisdom to conclude this people's brief. And with that being said, I hope that you are blessed. I want you to be blessed. I want you to be well. And whatever you do, keep pushing. I'll see you soon.